Alright guys, what's going on? This here is Colton, of course, and hope you guys' day is going pretty good. I know mine did. We got a lot of work done today, and decided to go ahead and do a voiceover of what we did. I didn't really have time to run the camera and get as much work as we did done, so. Anyhow, as you guys can see, I am in the 856 International Loader right now, and I'm taking it around to one of our 3 bale elevators we have around the farm. The reason we have 3, one of them is our neighbor's, one of them we bought and didn't realize that it was bigger than the one that we were borrowing from our neighbor's, and it was just too big and too heavy. It was built for a truck, not a hay wagon like we have. So what I'm doing right now is just taking this loader around to pick up the other one we bought, which is the right size. It is the same size as the one we're borrowing, and it needs quite a bit of work. I'm going to do a review over it as soon as it's done, just to show you guys kind of what we did. I didn't get that done today. We didn't quite end up finishing the project. We were in the process of taking one of the tires off, which was completely stuck onto the axle when about 45-mile-an-hour winds came up and we were forced to quit for the day. So, you know how that goes. Just another day here on the farm. So right now, my grandpa and I are just chaining up to this bale elevator and gonna get it hooked up and take it around to the shop. Right guys, so as you can see, we got hooked up to the elevator. It took quite a bit of doing actually to get the chains positioned just right, because you have to balance these loads, and they're not exactly meant to be balanced hanging on loaders. So just taking it around to the shop here, as you guys can probably see. I'm going to tell you guys some of the stuff we worked on. There's going to be more than one part to this video, just because there was a lot of work that went into this project. We spent probably, 6 to 8 hours working on this project. We did work on the other elevator, which is sitting out in front of the shop there by the 1066. Needed some straightening, and we had the stuff out, we put it away, and then we decided we would work on it. So here we are at the shop, just going to lower it down, and my grandpa there is going to unchain it, and we're going to get started on this project. So Alright, so here we are at the shop. This is you guys' view because, like I said in the beginning, I didn't really have time to be moving the camera around and explaining to you exactly what we were doing. So right now, um, we had the welders and torches and everything out, and we're getting ready to begin work. What we had to do is there were all the bolts on this were completely rusted. We had to take an angle grinder and cut them. We got to go get some um, special bolts for this. We didn't have them, so we've got to go to town and pick some up. That's no big deal. As you can probably see there, the left tire, there's not much left of it, so that's obviously getting replaced as well. What did we do? We picked this up about 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure. And for some reason, the chain, I'll explain to you how these work when I'm showing them to you, because right now there's no way to really see how they work. But there's a chain that you turn on and off by, um, there's a gearing type system in the tires, so it's a ground driven um, elevator. And what it does is when you engage it as you drive, there's a chain that goes vertically up and down. And if you can see kind of the V type shape there, that's where the bales go in. You hit it and it guides it in to a chute, and it runs it up the elevator and then tips it out the side onto our hay wagon where we stack it. And done a drone video on putting up the hay, and I do believe you saw the one we borrowed in action in that video. This is the exact same bale elevator, guys. Same model, everything like that. It needs paint. It is pretty rusty. We did not get to that today working. So, like I said, we were just taking off the last tire when the wind came up, and that's when we called it quits. So, I have to finish taking that off. We almost have it off, got about halfway off. What we did is we took a hydraulic jack in there and put some tension on it, and then kind of hammered on it a little bit, trying to get it off. We had to grind on the axle a little bit, grind it down a little bit, trying to get it off. And for some reason, that one didn't want to come off. The other one came right off, no problem at all. But that one didn't want to, so that's just how life goes sometimes. So right now, there was a lot of bending and metal work we had to do on this. There's a platform where the bales dump onto after they're picked up, and someone had backed into it or hit it with something because it had completely ripped through the piece of angle iron that was on there and bent it up a good foot out of position. So we had to heat the angle iron, bend it back. We grabbed a little piece of metal we had laying around, welded it on there, drilled a hole through that, and then reconnected the bracing there, which held the platform back, did all that. The hitch on this was completely bent in like a 90-degree angle to the left, and we are not sure why. Probably still just from being run into. So we had to heat that and bend it back. There was just quite a bit of work to do on this project. You guys really won't be able to see a lot of what's happening. There were just kind of small details we did. Had a little bit of light metal straightening we had to do. We just ended up using vice grips and crescent wrenches to straighten that. And that worked out actually pretty well. Got everything straightened up on the side of the bale chute. These elevators tend to like try to rip in half there, and this one had, and someone had put a really crappy tack weld on it. So we actually we were able to just take a chisel and chisel the old weld off. So yeah, it wasn't that great. And then we took a piece of angle iron. We went over it, we welded that on there, and were able to pretty well straighten the side of the elevator back up. It did a pretty good job, and it's a lot sturdier than it was before, I'll tell you guys that. So that's really all we did. It's going to be in this episode. This is going to be, like I said before, this is going to have more than one part just because of how long it took us, and we haven't even painted it yet. So this is just the first part, you guys. This was basically metal straightening all day long. So without any further ado, I think I'm going to quit the voiceover and put on some nice snazzy music in the background. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this video.